Welcome back to the channel. So when I'm out and about talking to people within the organisation, they ask about my job title and I tell them that I am a Centre for Enablement lead. So the next question that I normally get is, what is a Centre for Enablement? And I recorded a video about that last time, so I'll put a link down in the description. You can go and have a look at that. But after I've explained to them what a Centre for Enablement is, one of the questions that is a follow-up is normally, what's the difference between a Centre for Enablement and a Centre of Excellence? And I'm going to tackle that question in this video. So the concept of a Centre of Excellence originated back in the 1990s and in the field of manufacturing. The basic idea was to establish dedicated facilities, some of them really quite large, and put those teams of experts into those facilities to develop methods and processes aimed at developing new products. These centres then had the responsibility of training employees in the new methods and processes that they developed and sharing their expertise with the rest of the company. So when the IT industry picked this concept up, it was normally implemented as a centralised model within the IT department within the organisation, with the aim of providing advice on architecture, development, security, implementation and support services amongst other subjects. And normally the support was provided on a project by project basis and developing patterns and assets and processes for those projects. They would then become common assets across all of the projects. So the Centre of Excellence was normally staffed by the people that seemed to be experts in each of their own individual areas. So to summarise, a Centre of Excellence was normally seen, and is still normally seen, as a centralised group of experts who provide their services in either engagements to projects or the provision of assets to the organisation, and normally to IT projects within that organisation. In order to provide a Centre of Excellence, an organisation has to gather its experts, either full-time or part-time, into either a physical or a virtual team. And by virtual team, I mean a team that is really part-time, as I said previously. Now, any organisation is only going to have a limited number of experts, and therefore it has a limited ability to service customers by way of time in consultancy or the development of new assets. So the use of a Centre of Excellence would often lead to the creation of bottlenecks within the organisation. And where bottlenecks occurred, the project's timescales couldn't allow for that delay in consulting with the Centre of Excellence, and so the timescales became compromised, and the projects would often look for ways to get around the Centre of Excellence and develop their own assets, often not standard solutions, and therefore this defeated the actual objective of having a Centre of Excellence. Now, as I described in my last video, the Centre for Enablement can be implemented as a core team of people, a federated group of people, or a hybrid virtual team. In an organisational sense, the Centre of Excellence and the Centre for Enablement can look very similar. However, whereas the Centre of Excellence will have a centrally focused mindset, the Centre for Enablement will have a federated organisational mindset, which serves as a foundation to an operating model that focuses on securing and managing reusable assets across the organisation, which can be discovered by all IT and business-focused projects. So in the Centre for Enablement, while there may be many experts involved in the provision of foundational and reusable assets, the promotion to the wider organisation, including the business, is through mechanisms that can serve these assets to the rest of the company, rather than relying on individual experts to engage with projects on a one-to-one basis to impart their knowledge or advice on the use of the assets that they've produced. So in summary then, a Centre for Enablement is a federated organisational entity with an approach to provide their expertise and assets through self-service model for other IT and business projects to come and consume. Of course, there may be some engagement with projects, especially in the areas of consultancy and governance, but this is generally on a much lighter touch basis, and the main drive is to promote self-service and the agility in the IT and business organisation. At this point, I'd like to point out that the function of both a Centre of Excellence and a Centre for Enablement can be known by many different names in an organisation, and therefore it's vital that you examine what a group does and how they do it before deciding if an entity is actually performing the role of a Centre of Excellence or a Centre for Enablement. While the term Centre of Excellence, like I said before, has been around for quite some time, there may be now a trend to refer to a Centre for Enablement just because it sounds more relevant in today's organisational environment. Be aware that some centres of excellence may actually be hiding under the description of a Centre for Enablement. Of course, the terms and names of business groups are not what is important to achieving excellence, innovation and agility in business. It's the products and assets and their provision to the business in a timely and secure manner which will enable the business to achieve business goals and savings in development times and costs which they never thought possible in the past. And in order to do this, you need to enrol expertise from across the business, as it should always be remembered that the experts in an organisation do not all reside in the IT department. So from a governance point of view, the Centre of Excellence can be a place where access to key IT systems and data can be seen to be strict and limited. The Centre of Excellence may wish to control, sometimes for very good reason, when and how data is accessed by projects. On the other hand, the Centre for Enablement, certainly in a MuleSoft implementation where you're providing data to the business, this element will have been tackled by access to the systems and data through governance processes that have been built and delivered through foundational APIs and API fragments. Access to data by customers and projects will still be through self-service, but with a relatively light touch but important governance, and will require authorization from data owners and service owners to ensure that data is being used correctly and in a way that conforms to any legislation that may be in place. APIs, when they are consumed, will be subject to contracts within the MuleSoft environment, and the issue of API contracts will be a video that I'll make later on. So I think we can see a pattern emerging here in the difference between a Centre of Excellence and a Centre for Enablement, and at its core it revolves around a centralised versus a federated self-service delivery mindset. The Centre for Enablement is focused on providing reusable, composable assets which can be used to build, innovate in an agile and cost-saving manner using building blocks of assets, primarily connectors, API fragments and APIs, while within a Centre of Excellence That's primarily targeted at providing best practice, consultancy and assets of excellence which may or may not be reusable. So finally, I'd like to come back to one of the 4 key elements as far as I'm concerned of a Centre for Enablement. And those 4, as I've said before, are provision of foundational assets, governance, training and evangelization. And I'm going to talk about evangelization. As I've said many times, and this does apply to a limited extent for the Centre of Excellence as well as the Centre for Enablement, there is no point in producing or assembling assets of whatever type if no one knows about them and how to use them. So evangelization across all parts of the business is key to driving the success of the business and delivering the innovation and all the elements that the business seek to drive their business forward. And I just want to finish this video by stating that both the Centre of Excellence and a Centre for Enablement have their roles, and both can be critical within an organisation, but you should now have the tools to identify how these are operating in your business. A Centre of Excellence could operate alongside a Centre for Enablement if the roles and groups are fully understood, but I think this would be highly unusual and would have to be supported by very clear, understood boundaries and limitations, responsibilities. So if you found this video useful, if you are thinking about embarking on a MuleSoft or Salesforce project, then please give the video a like. It does help the channel. Also provide any comments, either comments on this video or things that you would like to understand from the MuleSoft Catalyst. If you are engaging on projects and you would like to learn more about the MuleSoft Catalyst, then I will be producing more videos. So please consider subscribing to the channel, and then you'll get notified when these videos are released. So I hope this one's been useful, and I hope to see you next time.